Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll try it. We'll try it. Okay. So hi everybody. I'm Tammy with Clevertouch, and I brought with me Brittany from Tierney. She's one of our partners. So came here mainly because I have been touring some of the campuses, and they said that you guys needed some additional training. So that is why I'm here. This is your training, so if you have any questions or if you want to hop in and test out things while I'm demonstrating it, feel free to flag me and let me know that you want to see something. So got a couple people that just joined, so maybe I'll just kind of very slowly hesitate here as I come up to the board. Okay.
Make sure you guys grab some snacks too, please.
Yes, please, because I definitely don't want to take anything home. So, okay, so the way I'm going to start off here is I'm going to just start somewhat elementary and just go through each one of the icons. And as I go through the icon, I'll describe things and I'll let you know how to use things. But generally, someone made a great comment earlier that this is just a big Android tablet. So if you've ever used a tablet of any kind, it's going to have the same look and feel. We just added an interactive whiteboard to it. So the first thing I'm going to start with is just the actual whiteboard. Yes?
That menu was outstanding. Where did that come from?
Yes, so if you, this is the home page. So the home page, all you have to do is hit the arrow here, and that the icons will pop out. Okay, and it's on either side. So if you're on this side, you don't have to be on one side or the other.
Do you mind if I pause you for 1 second?
Yes.
Out of curiosity, and we do want to open up with questions too, and we'll make sure that we try to answer those questions as we're doing this. Because I know we're supposed to be taking notes as well.
Well, just
Any questions? So we do want to kind of point out things that, like for instance, that question right there. You know, most likely you're probably connecting your computer and displaying it that way. If that's the case, you're not using this Android.
Right. And I can do it this way. That sounds wonderful.
Yeah, and that's just one simple thing of just even learning how to switch your sources from your computer to what we call a tablet.
My kids figured out how to swipe it up.
Yeah.
They're so smart.
Yeah. So it's here.
7th graders. That's
So this is just the sources. Lux is our own operating system, and that's Android, basically. So this is whenever you're on the Lux, that means you're on the Android side of the board. And then the HDMI 2.
Yes.
Okay, sure.
Go, Lou.
Wow.
I saw the other whiteboard have big number. I'm blind, so every time I'm back here, I ask what's the number there. I can make that number bigger.
Oh, the Clevershare number?
Don't you make it bigger?
Yeah, that's all the classes I see today.
So the only way to actually do that is if you go to apps, which we'll put it in your favorites. If you open up Clevershare, I mean, it's a little bit bigger right there. So you
Right,
just
but
open
by
it.
that time then I had to go up there to see it. I think when I plug in the morning, I turn on my computer
Yeah.
and I just remote turn on that and then I see what's that number.
You only have to do it once, so I mean.
I know it from the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
But I see like the other classroom they have a bigger number.
Yeah,
How come my number is small?
So what I do on my number,
I know.
is I tell my number to snooze and it looks like a little book. When I click
Yep.
on it, it comes up bigger.
Right, but by that time then I don't need that anymore.
I turn it on in the morning and then I click it and then I go to the back of the room.
Well, that's, I turn it on, I turn back
Here's your
here.
routine,
When I
right?
connect there, I don't see the number until, what's the number?
So Lou, what we're going to do is actually, we noticed before we started training, and we'll have to play around a little bit, but it has an update. So you can actually update this app, Clevershare app, and maybe that's why the other boards have a little bit bigger numbers, because they've updated it. So we'll take a look at that. It's a little bit bigger. It's
No,
not-
I saw her classroom, her classroom big and Helen's is big because I have too much small.
So
No, mine is small like that too. Once in a while, it'll just go big. But right now, my time is off. I had a sub the other day turn off the whole thing, and my time is like AM right now. And I don't know how to. I tried to play around in there, and I'm like, whatever. I'm like, don't look at the time. I'm like, it's not current.
Okay. You have another question?
And then this is a CTE question, I think more of. Do we have our intranets yet, or is that still in process? You know the wireless intranets that we
No,
were.
it's not. It actually has to be connected directly.
Okay, so far we just have it so that it's
Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah,
that
hardwired. We're not going to do the wireless one.
They'll tell you they.
We have a solution for that.
Yeah.
We'll show you that.
So we could
Yes.
potentially use like our iPad, like an iPad
Yes.
or
Yes.
something. Sweet.
Yeah,
So you
we
have
can
to-
show you how to do that.
Sweet.
Kids' computers too, if we load yours.
Yes.
You
Shall
can-
I mirror mine right now?
Do you wanna start there, or?
Well, let's see if there's any other questions first.
I do have one.
That's my computer.
If I'm projecting what's on my computer up over there, right, it's mirroring, and I take a screenshot, because I want to work on my computer while they don't watch what I'm doing. So I just take a screenshot of it, I know how to do that, I pop it in there. And sometimes I kind of like write things on there and I delete it, the whole thing goes off. I have to go walk all the way back to my computer to mirror that effect back in. Is there a way for me to do it on the Clevertouch itself?
I might need a visual for that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like in other words, if you were to mirror whatever's on your computer right now, right, and you take a screenshot, so you do that little cut area. So I posted on a whiteboard and I start writing all my notes, and then I accidentally touch something and it deletes the whole thing.
While you're in whiteboard?
Yes, while I'm on whiteboard, even if I do the go back, I can't. I have to go back to my computer and mirror it back on.
Or the screenshot even goes above the writing, so the writing's behind it. where you can't
Yes,
see it.
that yeah.
That is true.
That
does
happens
happen.
to me. Is there a way,
What's
hopefully
on
there's a way to fix that, but I don't know.
Is it
Okay, what we'll do is we'll kind of
It's
touch
already
base on
on
that
the-
one, have you show us probably exactly what you mean, because I need a visual for that
What am
one.
I on?
Any other questions before we jump in?
When, so clearly I've been plugging mine in, so I can just put in that code and then a little,
No, that's if
It
you want
mirrors.
to ask.
You have the Clevershare app.
and I need to put it on here, okay, cool.
Does everyone have Clevershare on their computers?
Yes.
No, I heard Google knows.
Using the links cloud to do something on your computer and then access it from there, so you can.
Yeah, so you
Cloud?
can, yeah, you can actually screen mirror your device into where it's.
Or just save something on my computer into the links program and then can you access, it's a cloud app where I could just access it from there too?
For links or?
Yeah, I think that's the name of the program.
Links is their software. It's
Right.
like, okay.
It's-
So I can use something, I can create a project on my computer, save it to the cloud and then access it from there without having to do the flash drive back and forth, or I could do the flash drive back and forth, or whatever's easiest for that.
We can talk about that.
And you do live on that too.
Anything else before we get started?
Changing your background image to
Yep.
something that says like your classroom or something cool.
Okay.
Okay.
And then one other thing is, I just have a question about the advanced code that you can put up there, you know, the big giant long number. Have you guys done that at all? There's the advanced code that I tried, just because I was having network issues one day with the shortcut. And so I'm doing the longer one. Is that just generally there if you have a lot of network traffic? Is that all it is for, or are there other advantages, disadvantages? And we can answer that later, but that's
Okay.
a question I had, like, what are the key differences
Perfect.
between that?
Okay.
And it drops, mine drops Wi-Fi and the regular connection all the time. Sometimes I go to Wi-Fi, set it, go to my Ethernet, set it, go back, Wi-Fi's dropped. Like 3 or 4 times sometimes I have to do it. So I don't know if that's a board thing or just a network thing.
Okay.
So are you able to connect wirelessly via this school network or via the hotspot?
He doesn't know
So
about the
Wi-Fi.
hotspot.
Yeah, we don't have hotspot.
Maybe.
You know what I'm talking about, no, it's.
Or you connect
So,
through your cable?
I don't use the soundbar because I believe I sound in, but could you just show me or discuss how to set this soundbar so I can try it?
And the settings for the soundbar, because we have, some of us have speakers already that are better than the soundbar.
Yes.
Every time we switch something, it drops the soundbar, or it goes to the soundbar. And then I just go in and switch my settings
Yeah.
to my big speakers.
That might be something
Up to
if.
That's what
development.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but every time I
Across the top.
switch, it switches.
yeah, you have to turn on
Okay.
your speaker on your computer.
Yes, but every time I switch, it goes to the soundbar on there, and I don't want it on the soundbar.
That's the system.
Yeah.
I mean, I downloaded the
I like that.
Clevertouch app for Mac, so when I go back to my real classroom on my own Wi-Fi network, because Dave, they did connect mine to the internet, right?
Yes.
So is it on SASD 199? Which network is it on? They put SASD or,
It's plugged into the wall, isn't it?
That's a
Is
US.
it
oh,
hardwired?
it's still hardwired?
Yeah.
Mine's hardwired.
So
Mine
how
got
do I
it.
connect to it then?
We
Yeah.
all hardwired.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about that.
Thank
We'll
you.
talk about it. We'll talk about it. Everything, all of the, as far as my knowledge, and I know everyone I think is scattered throughout, right? You guys aren't all housed here or teacher. all the panels are connected via LAN. So they're all hardwired, I guess, on your network. So are your desktops. So they are able to communicate with each other because they're on the same network. So
Okay.
we'll talk about the other
So
option
if
too.
I'm using Wi-Fi for my laptop.
We'll show you the
this.
solution.
Thank you so
Yes.
much.
That's great.
Anything else?
We're the worst students. You
No.
know?
Stop. No, I'm just kidding.
We have more questions.
We'll make sure, I might interrupt you as you go, just to make
Yeah.
sure we're hitting some of these.
Yeah, sure. So, okay, so,
I think we're ready to get started, I guess.
okay, okay. All right, so just gonna go down each icon and show you.
Go ahead and take it off.
Yeah.
It's not helping anything.
It's not helping, is it?
Okay.
I'll just talk very loudly, which is very easy for me to do.
Get that teacher voice.
All right, so everyone can hear me okay, right? Okay. So on the whiteboarding, I'm just gonna go through each icon and show you each feature. On the pen feature, so if first of all, you can do 20 points of contact on the board, which is your fingers. But, and you can also, with the palm of your hand, erase. But if you're gonna use the pen is just a stylus. There's nothing electronic in it, but there is a thin side and a thick side because it has high precision. It's gonna be able to measure the sizing of the pen. And if I come in here to the pen, we have a template. And if I do the thin side, say orange, and the thick side, I'm gonna do blue, now I can write in 2 different colors. I can also change the thickness as well. So if I wanted the blue side to be even thicker, I can do that. And then, so then the next one is text recognition. So if I write my name, it's gonna ask me, are you sure you meant Tammy? But I did, so I'm gonna do an arrow here, and then it's its own manipulative object. So I can come in here and change the sizing, although I just noticed, yeah. But I can change the sizing on it. And then on this one is the recognition for math. So if I come in and I do the math problem, 6 + 6 equals with a question mark.
Right, does that to me. It's weird. Big fist. Figured that out too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit
Whatever
easier.
I'm doing.
I can't, a lot of times it's easier to do the back of my hand, but I have a ring, so I always do the front. But yeah, so if I come in here.
Scratch it, you bite.
Well, luckily it's scratch resistant, so. But yeah, if I come in here and do a problem, I can reveal the answer, so.
I'm sorry, how did you get the printing?
So if I come here to the recognition here, this is for math problems. And if I do 6 + 6 equals, and then if I do a question mark, as soon as the question mark loads, of course it didn't read
Looks like a
my
four.
writing first, but when you hit the arrow, that's when it will give you the option of being able to reveal the answer.
The A is just for text, right next to it.
Yeah, the A is
A
for
just
text.
Oh, cool, okay. So I don't have to read my nasty, okay.
Yeah, I have pretty bad writing, so most of the time it registers it.
And can you change the font on that and how wide that font is?
Yes, we just noticed that before we came in, we should have probably did that update because the arrow here isn't registering. So when we do the update, the arrow is what you'd be able to select things
It's your cursor.
with. It's your cursor.
So you can enlarge it that way. So we'll do an update and then make sure, if you guys notice on your panels, if that arrow is grayed out, that cursor, then it
So-
requires an update, which is super easy.
Okay.
And we'll show you that in the settings. And then the trash can is just universal. It's gonna sweep the board of everything that's on it. But if you wanted to go back and say, okay, I didn't want to erase those things, if I just hit the arrow back up to 10 times, it'll just keep going back to what you were before. On the text or the shape recognition, if I hit the shapes, say if I do a circle, I can do a quick Venn diagram, or if I hit it again, I can go to 3D shapes. That'll allow me to do some 3D shapes as well.
What part again? You did
Sorry.
once for the regular,
Yeah, so if I come in here, see
Okay, I
the
see,
3D
okay,
is
gotcha.
highlighted, so
See,
that's
yeah.
gonna give me any 3D shapes. And then 2D is here.
This is great, obviously, for what you said, any diagram that you're creating, and we'll show you how to save it too, but even if you have student-led projects or anything, they can also utilize those tools just to quickly bring in a chart or something when they're presenting or collaborating.
And then on the hand is going to give you an infinite whiteboard space. So say if you want to save this, but you need some more space, you can just move, hit the hand, and it moves everything away. Then I can come up here, write some more, maybe sweep it again, write again. And then if I hit the hand twice, it will give me a red box, and now I can move within that infinite whiteboard space.
Ooh.
It's like replacing those old.
I keep hitting the plus is what I'm doing, and then I don't know how to maneuver from back and forth from the pages.
Oh, okay. Well, if you wanted to, say if you wanted to do pages, that's kind of the next thing I was going to show. So if I wanted to add a page, like say if I wanted to keep a page but not have a new clean page, I can just hit the plus sign, and now I can have another page here. Let's just do 3 here. But if I hit right here, it will give me kind of like a PowerPoint. You can just stock up your pages and you can go in between them, maybe delete something, but it'll give you, you can load up as many pages as you want. I think they've tested hundreds of pages.
It's infinite.
Yeah, it will just keep going, but it'll just be a heavy file if you ever wanted to send it out. So that's this portion here. Now I'm going to come over.
I'm sorry, when you say send it out, so whatever, all that are like my notes that I can email myself?
Yes. Yeah, I'm going to show you that right now. So if you hit the bar here, it'll give you a list of options that you can, what you can do with the whiteboarding. So if I export it, it can export it into these file formats here, and you can email it to yourself. Or if you wanted to set up a cloud storage, if you hit cloud storage, add an account, you can hit either Google or OneDrive account. So if I were to hit this, it's just going to take me to the login page for Google. And then you can just log into your account and be able to save it there.
Has anyone done this?
No.
Okay. So you can access your cloud. This is going to be different than what you're talking about. But even if you're creating something in Google Docs or anything, we'll show you a way that you can access it. But anything that you take notes right here, and you want to, I don't know, is anyone using Google Classroom?
Yeah.
We all do.
So you can just push that directly to your cloud, your Google account, and then share it out to your students, disperse it that way. Time saver, right? The other thing, sorry,
That's okay.
I have way too much to say, I shouldn't be here. Right?
No, I'm glad you are here.
When you are saving the pages, like what she was talking about here, just adding pages versus that infinite space, where you just move everything. When you save a document that's in that infinite space, it'll scrunch it all in one document. So I actually prefer to create pages, and it'll save it kind of like a slide doc. It's much easier to read, then it's easier to access to when you give it to
And you
students.
did that by the plus sign.
Plus sign.
This is
And you
amazing.
view it.
Thank you.
Cloud storage.
Whoa.
So really quickly, are you able to save it like with the title on that when you do save it to the Google?
Yeah, if you've already set up your account, when I hit cloud storage, it's just going to ask for to name the file.
Okay.
So, and then it'll
But I would have to type it up there then. Because right now my computer and my desk.
To be honest with you, I think you might have to do it on your, let's save that for the end, we'll show that at the end.
Okay.
I'll do my cloud storage.
Is it also possible, because our Google accounts are phenomenal, because we can save they're secure, and we can save our passwords and things like that. Can we log into our Google account, our Chrome account, because since it's an Android device, we can install a copy of Google Chrome on there?
So they all have the Chrome browser on the panel.
Great.
So you should have access to that. And that's actually, if you're going to display, which she's going to talk about here in a minute, all right?
It's okay.
If you're going to display anything in your Google Drive, you have to use it through the browser.
Great.
And we'll talk about why. But
Okay. And then the last way to be able to save content is if you were to hit the QR code. And the QR code would come up, and if the device has a phone on it or a camera on it, all you have to do is hit my camera, and then it will load it into my device. This is an iPhone, so it would load it into Safari. If I can.
really, that's used a lot with students who have their own devices and they just want to capture the content. You have to be on the
So
same
it'll be
network
like
though.
Each page.
So, FYI.
So Yeah, it'll just load
Does
up
that
each page
suck up
into the
memory on my
phone.
phone, or no? It just sucks up the
Sorry.
cloud.
And
I think if I
the
was to take pictures of
QR
that,
code gets larger too, so
it's
it
not just
doesn't have to
sucking,
be like
it's just
a
sucking up
rush
any
to
of the
the front
memory or
room. They can
anything on
do
my
it
phone.
from the
Well, it's like an image. So,
Oh, that's it, okay,
Yeah.
okay, so that's it.
Your barn had showed where you could save and open a file. Where are those coming from?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear the question.
On the toolbar on the far side there, you've got open and save. Where are you saving those to? And
Directly to the device, because it has its own storage.
Oh.
So if I come in, this was gonna be kind of my next thing I show, but let's go to the
okay,
files.
sorry.
No, that's okay.
It's always a good
This is
segue.
Yeah, so on the next section, on the files, so if I open
Oh, this is
files, I can either go directly to the device, this is the storage that's already built into the device. And then if you slot it in a USB drive, you can access a USB drive or your cloud account once you set it up.
So my only question would be, because you can save all that, you have to type it, I'd have to keep walking back to the corner to my PC to type up all and save all that stuff, or because if the keyboard pops up, but I'm like doing this big thing onto it. Sometimes I make more mistakes
So
doing
when,
that way.
to be honest with you, and this is what I want to test later when we do our cloud drive, when we push, I'll just put mine on the board. When you push a cloud, a file to your cloud drive, actually, I'm not sure if you're able to name it, you'd have to rename it on your computer, which might be better. It just
Yeah,
gives it a
'cause it's just-
timestamp. So that's how it'll save the document in your drive. But I
Just
want
more
to
recent
verify
one,
that.
okay.
Yeah, so then
I'd
you
have
can,
to just go into recent and then go back there instead of going back and forth. Okay.
but when you save it directly to the panel, it'll give it a timestamp again. So if
Okay.
you don't want to have, I don't mean, you don't want to type it, but you have to actually use the keyboard on there if you're saving it directly to the panel.
So okay, because there is a keyboard on it that you're.
Yes.
Yeah. I know, I should have maybe slotted in my module that I had the cloud drive set up, but we can show it again. Okay, so that's and on the files, you can also, if I'm say, let's see, on the USB drive, if I said, okay, well, I want this to be actually downloaded onto the device itself, I can move things around. I can just hit this, I can copy it, and then put it onto storage. paste
Even
it
in your
here.
cloud drive too, or right on, yeah. Panel.
Yeah, so if like say something on your cloud drive, you want it to stay just on the panel because you're going to use it often,
Uh-huh.
you can just download it straight to the panel. Any questions on that so far on the files portion? I think that one's pretty self-explanatory. And then the browser we talked about, the browsers, it's already embedded into the panel, so you can come up and say do a lesson. Say if I'm gonna just do a lesson on frogs. If I do a search, I can actually put it side by side too. So if I come to this one, just stacks up all the pages I have open. So anything that has two rectangles on it means I can split screen it. So I can put my split screen over the browser here, and then let's say a whiteboard next to it. So now you have them side by side.
You can watch a video, take notes.
And it's adjustable, so if you want the actual browser to be larger and just taking a side note here, you could.
And you could have two windows of the browser open too. Like we take our notes in Google Docs, so we can do that, or maybe.
Yes, you have to have, you can't, just like our phones, it's just what's active and it's running. So you can't have two of the same browser. But because there's different browsers on here, yes, you can just have, and we'll show you the Chrome, like the Chrome browser. And the one that she's showing you right now is just the generic browser on the panel.
Yeah, it's not the Chrome browser.
Correct.
Cool.
It's very similar, but there's another Chrome browser on there, so technically, yes.
So if you just saved an image, like if you click on that and popped it onto the whiteboard,
Yeah.
this is what I'm having problems
Okay.
with. And right, so you take that screenshot of it, just transfer,
No,
it goes in,
well, no, you have to get out of full screen.
and you say, hit the board, hit the whiteboard, and it'll take you, yeah, right? So then I start trying all these notes, and for whatever reason, it'll delete stuff or it'll overlap my notes, and I can't get back.
Like how it's on top of your
Yeah,
screen right now.
so how do I just move it around? But let's just say I want to delete just that one part underneath there, and I do the eraser, it erases the whole thing.
Move the.
So if you hit eraser,
Well, technically you'd be able to, when the arrow is here, you could just hit arrow and select that and then delete it.
Here, sorry. Like that?
yeah, but it for some reason always deletes my, because I'll write stuff on there, on the image,
One thing that we didn't, there's two things. Yes, because this is just a screenshot that you're just putting in there, it's not living on the document, you know, or it's like,
Yeah.
whatever, it's over it. So technically your text will go behind it if you move it. That's what someone else said. With the mouse, it would work. There is a way, which we didn't talk about, in your settings or my hamburger menu, in your background. So there's a couple options. This could be a solution for some items. If you're just doing something quick and you want to snip, then that's kind of how it's going to be with the annotation. But if you want something as your background, you can add your own image. So let's say the template that you always want to use, you go to custom and you can add it. It has to be 1920 by 1080. So let's say this would be better, this is like for diagrams or something that you use on a daily basis, or templates. What I would suggest is just saving it on your flash drive and you can open it, access it right here.
I have one on my.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. If you go to.
So if kids are entering data on a table or a chart, that you wanna make the background, because then they can draw it
And
and it won't
then it won't
disappear, it
move.
won't go
Exactly.
away.
And it is.
That's what needs.
And
It's
then you can
almost like
save
your-
it. Yeah, that's
It's like
exactly
a
what we
screensaver in a sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's one thing that.
That's how you change the background.
How do I go from, like let's just say I undid it, it disappears, the whole thing disappears. Then I gotta go walk back to my solution would be go back to the corner of the room, go on my PC again and mirror it back in and then freeze it again. It's such a hassle.
Because you're using it through Clevershare is what you're doing,
Yeah.
right? You're not just using the Android side.
Correct.
Could you, okay, all right, let me think about that for a minute.
Okay.
I'm
I'm just trying to find
sit on this.
a solution where I'm not getting a workout
Exactly.
back and forth. Or would it be better if I had a tablet that I'm doing it from?
That might, when we show you Clevertouch, you might be able to see that might be an option.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
So in the hamburger, from whiteboard, in the hamburger menu, you went to
Background.
background.
and then you
And
have.
look at your different colors and different templates.
And then custom is
That's
where
so
you pull it
cool.
off your flash drive.
So just the background is what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's like your,
Because we want to make sure it's 1920 by 1080 because that's what's going to fill the entire space.
and the custom one, you're just taking like it's a photo I have and I'm just gonna upload it, I'm just gonna download it. Is that what I'm
So just
doing?
put it like, she accesses this from her flash drive.
Yeah, I had a picture on my flash drive and I just threw it up there.
And how do you do that?
So when you go plus, it will take you either to the storage if you have it directly on the device or my USB drive. That's the picture here, and I just hit the picture and press OK, and then
You
put it
can
on the background.
save an image to the panel itself and then do it that way too. Okay. Good, sorry.
Best training ever.
Yeah, yeah.
So much exciting stuff, guys.
Okay.
You guys are making fun of
So next, let's just
More
go.
More phenomenal.
Clever Store. So have anyone poked around in Clever Store yet? Clever Store is our own app store that the apps that are loaded in there are stripped of its advertising and pop-up ads, so it's a clean app to use in the classroom. There's about 300 apps currently, and so if you come in here, say if you're looking for, they're going to change the search engine too. Right now you have to kind of go by category. They're eventually going to put it in where you actually type in the app that you're looking for, but that's the next generation. So say if you wanted something on coding and I want it for a 14 to 16-year-olds done, it will give me what apps are for that specific subject or grade. But there's, like I said, about 300 apps, and then if there's an app that you currently use quite often and it's not in Clever Store, then you can come to me and I can go back to our team and we can go to the developer and ask them if they can add it. More times than not, they're going to say yes because they're using it for free here, and then the student takes home their device, and then brother, sister, mom, or dad wants to use the app, then they're using the full version. So, but that's in the Clever Store here. Okay.
And there's other browsers, just so you know, since we were talking about browsers, like the Chromium browser's in here too. Just so you know, there's other Office tools that are in here.
Yeah.
The best way to ever search for, did you ever talk about searching it?
Yeah.
Just by age. But you can just Google Clever Store online and
It'll give you-
it'll list them all out. It's easier.
Yeah, the next update I think is when they're going to add the actual search because we're getting so many now. Before, when I first started here about a year ago, we had about 50 apps. Now there's 300. So they're realizing that they're going to have to pick up on being able to search for it. Okay. So then from there we we kind of went over active, or showed it where you can just get rid of different things, like it slides out just like you would on any tablet or device here. But if you're not using it, you just come through, scroll through it, and get rid of things. So that's active. And then lock, it's just gonna lock the screen so someone can't come up and start using it. The device actually has 5 different profiles that can be added to it. And that's what this NFC tray is right here. I don't know if I noticed that when I went to Santa Ana, they didn't have the NFC tray. So I don't know if you do have the NFC trays. What this is it's not just a pen tray. It has a fob that can come up and you can set up a profile. So say if you have multiple teachers using a classroom, they would have their own fob and they can hit it and it would open up to their own profile. So like when you're setting up your Google Drive, if you didn't want another teacher to use your Google Drive, it would be on your own profile. And also the settings for the files that are on the device itself, it would be just opening yours, not anyone else's. So
Do you guys have FOBs? Do you have them?
it looks like
I just don't use it.
Here.
Yeah. If you,
It's,
it looks
it's
like
the
this.
card. It's, remember that
Little
card that
card?
we're
Oh,
training?
we didn't get it.
It's in your mic box.
It's in the box.
It's in your mic box. It's in the mic
I
box.
will double check that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
It's in the
you.
box.
And they're expensive from what I hear, so.
don't lose them.
Yeah.
It's all right.
But if you do lose them, what would happen is if you lock the screen, it's just gonna make you put in a code. So that's the code that you would use to do the profiles.
We can show you how to make a user account if you're interested in seeing that too.
Yeah.
Would you be able to show how to reset this thing every time? Every time I have a sub come in, I think they turn off my whole computer, I mean the tablet, or Clevertouch.
Sure.
And I come in, it's always a different time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can show you that. One last tab, just the apps. Whatever
Oh,
the
I'm
apps
sorry.
you downloaded, it's just gonna go into that section.
Shouldn't it be synced in though to?
Yeah, and
Does it pick up the time for you automatically?
I thought it
Set
would,
that up
but.
that way.
We just
So
go
on date and time,
Ah, okay.
if you go to date and time, there's an automatic date and time. It could be that this is switched off. And if
Gotcha.
it is, it's just gonna default to whatever time is the panel
So
set
just go on
to.
my settings. Okay.
Yeah, so if you
Thank
just
you.
go to settings, date and time. And then if anyone is looking at a panel and it says favorites and it's spelled with U, that's because there's also a language setting. So it could be that it's still set to, because they default to British, UK language and time. So you might want to just check the language, make sure it's US, and then also on the time, you want to make sure that also the correct time zones loaded into it too.
Thank you.
Okay. Because it could be that too. It could be that maybe the time zone's wrong. Okay. So Clevertouch?
Yes, we go open apps again, or actually in favorites, will you add, like if you want to add something down here, which is, I would add that Chrome browser. So we added the settings right there, Chrome browser. So then it will always be in your favorites.
So now
I'm sorry, how did you do that for your favorites on the night?
favorites,
Favorites?
and then there's a plus symbol.
Okay.
The plus symbol will take you to the apps, and you would just click on the one that you want to add to
Okay.
it.
So you can even maybe just add Clevertouch down there just for fun.
Okay.
All right, let me see if there's anything, before we move on to Clevertouch, because we have, that's the nitty gritty of, we showed the time changed, did you guys, I forgot who asked, do you know how to change the time? Just go to settings, date and time, that's where you change the time. We will do that.
You wanna do it on that word, since it's not set correctly? Sometimes it's been, you don't
That's
have time.
4:50.
No, that's right.
That's not 122, is it?
No.
Today's
Yeah,
date
oh,
is
the date's,
27th.
the date's 27.
So date and time right there, and then
Automatic.
go to the select your.
Automatic.
Oh, yeah.
Set that.
This might be, this probably needs to be updated too.
But you can take it off automatic and set it.
How about the one that says network provided? Can you use that one or not?
So just manually do it, turn it off to
Up at the
automatic,
top,
and then,
And shoot it, yeah, just to do the date.
But,
I can turn it on.
Yeah, turn it
then you can
back.
have, okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, well, let's talk about Clevertouch, yeah. Oh, the background. So you can change the
Yeah.
background so it's not blue. Go to settings
And display.
and display,
Where is display? There it is.
right there.
And into
So you could do wallpaper or gallery. So let's say you do have an image of your class or something you want, or you can just, again, save that on your flash drive.
We should put CD logos.
So you
Yeah,
get the
something like the
logo,
CT,
exactly.
whatever, however, a school logo or mascot.
And then where would you get it off your flash drive?
So if you go ahead and go to display
There you
again,
go.
display,
That won't be boring.
and then go to wallpaper.
This is Halloween.
No, just go to gallery. And this is where you would see it.
Hey, Google.
Obviously, these are the other so like that image now, let's see if I'm remembering this correctly. Nope, yeah, it's definitely in there. How would you get this?
Is it not?
No.
Can your gallery would be from your
I
photos?
think
that
you
you-
have to, don't you have to download it onto the
There's,
device?
you might have to download it on the device. The other option too, just so you know, and I believe it's on this one, the Sioux Frogs. If there's, like, if you guys have access to your CTE logo on there, if you just hold your finger down on an image, you can set that as your wallpaper right there. So, or view image, save image, or import to whiteboard. That's another way to get an image
Perfect.
into whiteboard.
That's a good one. So just hold on to that.
So-
Do I have to cut it though, or is this the
No.
image? Okay, perfect.
Just hold your finger down on it.
So I'd have to save put my flash drive in there, save it to the device somewhere, then when I'm in wallpaper, I'd be able to find it.
Well, you can save it on the device automatically, right? If I held down to it?
CTE, sorry.
If I just held down to it, it's
Yeah,
automatically
yeah.
gonna save it, it's gonna give you an option, save
Correct,
as,
correct.
or save image on.
Or import, yeah, or import into whiteboard, like what you were talking about.
Okay.
Save it onto the panel or use it as your background image from the browser. The other option, like what he was asking, is to save that, a certain image you have, save it on a flash drive,
Is it?
plug in your flash drive, download it to the panel.
That's the correct one.
Just open the website
Sometimes
for,
if you open the image,
open
you
it,
have a
what
higher
size?
resolution one.
Well, I hit set wallpaper.
not yet, yet open it, yet open it,
Visit.
They would visit.
yeah. Then you can run,
I'll
do
touch
that
that.
picture right there,
I'd be able to.
yeah, there you go.
Now, you might have to pick out a good one, because it might not look a little fuzzy, but you know.
Get the right
Not
image.
terrible.
Yeah.
Well,
And you can also, so you see how the time is now not visible? You can change the color of your time too.
No, I think it's there.
No, it's
Daytime.
daytime.
Oh,
daytime.
it was under date.
That's right.
So I think on top, there, oh, there it goes.
Set color. Oh, yeah. So, I don't know.
Yellow.
Red, yellow.
No,
Dark.
black.
Black, just-
Because of the CTE.
It'll move it around. Just hit, let's try blue.
Okay.
So it's still not the greatest, but the other thing you can do too, and I don't know, it will not change the color, so this background isn't a great image for it. And maybe you guys already noticed that you can change the text that's in the, unless if the team wants it to be a certain way, so I don't wanna speak out of turn here. But you can just tap this 5 times.
5 times.
It's actually 6.
Oh,
And then you can change it to like your name or whatever you wanna do in there.
very cool. And that image is probably different because you took it from the thumbnail, so if you open the. If you open the actual image, you'll get the high resolution one, so that might not be there.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
That
probably
one
just,
isn't a good
it
choice,
it was just the
obviously.
first one I
I
saw,
know,
so.
exactly.
because now you can even see the side arrows. I
No,
So it's hard to see.
Well, it's just.
When you
change it
decide
back
to change that on there, will the keyboard pop up for you to change?
Yeah.
On it? Okay.
It's,
And that's just an Android built-in keyboard that's on there.
It's so hard sometimes when you're sitting there, you're like,
there.
I'm sorry, they
Yeah.
are iPhone users, so they don't know Android.
I know, I'm an Android
Whatever.
girl, so I like. There you go.
Just so we can.
Okay, so that was just
so
one thing
everybody
before
see
we go
it.
to cover
Ah,
share.
wait, it didn't go, it said, sorry. I put the set
Okay.
paper.
Before we're gonna jump into Clevershare next, and I wanted to answer this advanced code mode, because a lot of this isn't really, it's not gonna affect you guys. That advanced code mode option is really for an extra security in the Middle East, because this panel is sold everywhere. Initially, they were using it possibly as to work as a subnet, on your subnet. This is way over my head, you guys, but I can use the verbiage. So really, that's not, it's more, like I said, more for Middle East countries, for an extra piece of security for them, just so you know. So really,
Okay.
don't worry about it. It's not gonna be helpful for us here.
Okay. Yeah, it was a little, it was like a week or two ago, we were just having some network issues on, I think I don't know if it was, I think it was just our site. And something weird happened with one of our printers, and it lost its IP address. And then when I replugged in my screen, it took that IP address. Anyway, there was some issue, and then our tech guy had to call the district and reset that, blah, 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 blah. And in that whole intermediate time, I was trying all these different things to make my screen work. And I couldn't get it to connect correctly when it had been fine for like a couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that advanced code, I'm like, let's just try this. And I was able to get on that way.
Well,
So
maybe,
I don't know
maybe
what-
it bypassed. So
Yeah,
that's
maybe
where
there's just something weird going on with it. But it is annoying because you gotta put in way more numbers and characters.
it is,
And
yeah.
the short
Right,
code
it's
is
a
only
lot
like
longer.
6 characters or something, right? So,
Mm-hmm. There's a better solution, and just so you guys know, Clevershare will only work if it's on the same network. So what we're going to show today is a little secret way to go around, it's not going around it, but right now, as we stated earlier, your panels are hardwired in via the LAN, so are your desktops. If you want to use your laptop, you're like, I can't, because it's not on the same network as what your other devices are. So Tammy, if you want to show how to actually use your own devices and or student devices, which I'm not sure if we're going that route yet, but there is a way to actually connect your tablets, your laptops, and all you're doing is making this a hotspot.
Right.
So you still keep your, your computer the way it is, you just have to turn on the hotspot on here. So if you want to.
Okay, well, first of all, let's talk about how you're going to get to here. On a PC or a Mac, you're going to download a driver from the website. If you're using an iOS, Android, or Chromebook device, you're going to download Clevershare 2 app onto the phone, or on the tablet. So I'm going to just start by showing the app on my phone. So it's just the Clevershare 2. And
then the Clevershare is downloaded.
if it's just Clevershare, that's our old version. You'd want to make sure it's Clevershare 2, but check it out. Okay, so with your iOS or Android Chromebook device, you're just going to hit the app, and the code that's up in the corner, you're just going to enter that.
That's what I did now. Doesn't say 200, does that matter?
Okay. So with the Android or iOS device, there's a few more options than just screen sharing. I mean, I could just screen mirror if that's all I wanted to do, but I could also access videos that are on my phone. And it's going to click up here. So it's just a video that I have downloaded on my phone. If I hit the menu, I can actually also annotate over that. Okay, once I X out of it, it's going to close all the annotation that was on there. But so that's the first thing, is a video. A photo is pretty self-explanatory, but if I hit a photo, it could go up there. But it's annotation over any input, so I can also just come up here and annotate over that as well. If I come out, and there's a camera as well, so if I hit my camera, I now have a web camera on the fly. Okay. Or if I needed like a quick document camera, I could also just hover over something, and now I can just quickly have a document camera and come back to it.
Yeah.
This feature she's using will that work on certain computers too, or only smart devices, only tablets and phones.
That way,
Yeah.
instead of
Yes.
phones,
So,
which does
you're
that
connected,
live,
that means I can't
I can
change
have
it.
The
a
document.
small tablet
Yes,
that
you
can
can.
use
Up to
doing that.
4 things,
That'd be cool. That'd
50
be very
devices in the room
accessible.
can be connected, and 4
Oh,
can be
so do it.
displayed on the panel at one time.
So am I on the school's wireless or am I on the,
So this is what I'm going to show you next,
I
is the
won't.
laptop spot. So because we are connected to a LAN, if I come in here to system, or settings, excuse me, and come to more, there's a built-in hotspot to where everything can connect directly to the panel without having to be on a network. So if you wanted to connect, you find the left spot, and then this is the password.
So if anyone has it installed right now, if you just wanna find LuxSpot as your internet.
No, I did this after you left in my classroom, but I haven't done it since.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so you would just find, so instead of finding a Wi-Fi network, you're finding LuxSpot in your Wi-Fi and putting in this password.
And that will give me internet?
It will, the landline is providing your internet. This is just allowing you to connect to Clevershare.
Gotcha.
On those other devices, your mobile devices.
Your mobile devices.
So that, even if I.
That counts mobile, yes, that's your mobile.
If they're
That-
wired.
So that will solve my
Yeah.
problem from walking back and forth on in
Correct.
there. If I had a tablet and I could just do that, that would be awesome.
Okay, and then, let me get to a clean page here. Okay, so then there's also desktop sync. And desktop sync is a way to be able to, whatever I'm gonna write on the board is gonna show up on my device and vice versa. So if I write here, you see it on my phone, and here, if I write, it's gonna show up here. So it's a collaboration where if you wanted to say, okay, I want you to connect and I want you to do the math problem, then you could do the math problem on the board with your device.
Is that through the same app? We're still talking about the
The
app?
same app, yeah.
Okay.
The Clevershare 2 app.
So would your students be able to join that then if they chose to? But
Yeah.
they'd mess with you.
Yeah,
They
so
only on a smart device is this feature. So if your students have,
iOS, Android, or Chromebook devices.
And we should all have Chromebooks.
So if they have a Chromebook, they would download the Clevershare 2 app, and then from there they would be able to connect.
but they wouldn't be able to do this. They wouldn't be able to control it.
Okay.
The only way you have bi-directional, like what she's showing you right now, where you're completely untethered from the board, walking around and writing,
Uh-huh.
is only on a smart device, only on a
Okay.
tablet or a phone.
So only Android or iOS.
Yes.
Could you put that password back up? I was trying to connect it just for practice, but I'm not.
Did you? Oh, yeah.
You show how you set the hotspot again, too?
Sure.
Okay, so this is the settings page. There's Wi-Fi, Ethernet. The one that says more, if you hit more, it'll say tethering and portable hotspot.
Okay.
When you hit that option, then if you hit setup right here, the setup is where you're gonna get the information. You can rename this essentially, like so if you want your room to be, okay, room 31, left spot,
Okay.
you can rename this. And then show password, you could also rename the password too. You don't have to have it be this number. You
And
can
then is that gonna be set up for that every time you use it after that then, or do you have to do this every time you use it?
You have to turn on the hotspot.
If you want, yeah, if you
Once
want,
I
Like
get
that's
that-
the top
once I
one,
get
yeah.
that
your
hotspot on,
device might connect immediately when it all comes on if you leave it on, you know, just.
Yeah, when I was over at Santa Ana, every time I went into a room, I just already saw Lux hotspot when we set it up.
I mean, it's been the same password every time, so it'll probably automatically.
Okay.
So how do you change that? I mean, if you.
You just click here,
I don't know. Oh,
and then, maybe I should do that.
Maybe something, maybe
Wait,
something.
hold on, keep it up there. I don't know if you.
Hold on, I
can't change it.
You just make it something simple because it's not connected, and it's not like security risk.
Hold on.
Valley, V-A-L-L-E-Y.
Capital
VHS.
Or,
Mr. VHS.
Just Valley is fine.
and that one.
Perfect, that's it.
Oh, okay.
This is just for kids to connect, it's not like it's.
Yeah.
Well, let's see if she's.
Oh, 8 characters.
Oh, it has to be app.
Maybe Valley,
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes.
Ah!
Somebody did,
Oh, that was me,
So,
sorry.
somebody connected.
so that worked.
But then, just while we're there, so I can show.
Well, password did use, but that wasn't.
The one
No,
that
I
was
used
this
the
way.
one.
So
Yeah,
it's
it's
not-
So-
Yeah, it probably was still, I haven't
I don't want
set
my
this
kids
yet,
doing that, 'cause my
so
kids are
he probably
gonna
was
mess
able
with
to
me.
connect on the old
I'll be
one.
teaching and it'd be like, they could throw in, well, they mess with my computer screen now, leaving stupid, the screensavers. And I was like, who left? It's like, it's all Donald Trump or it's stupid cats. And I was like, why? Why?
Cool, and then say.
Okay, so everyone gonna get that. Now I have to reset my password.
And it's say.
Okay, so now I've been disconnected, let me just go back in and do password. This is my school, so.
Oh, it looks like it changed. Is that?
Yeah, I changed the password, so now it's changed it. Just looking for it.
do this setup again. Okay. What's the show the password? I wonder, did it really say it?
There it is, okay, now, well,
Yeah, okay,
it
connect.
showed up and then it disappeared, hold on.
So that's the trouble I was having, it didn't make you stay long enough for me to.
There it is.
Okay, I connected. I think it's allowing one person to connect.
It's weird, it won't
Yeah.
take my code, every.
I'll be right there.
It might be,
Oh,
don't
finally.
worry.
I don't think that password can be changed.
So there.
Did it work?
Yeah.
Okay.
But what, like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
first time you go to connect to it, it's gonna say incorrect, and then you have to put in the new one.
Is it cap sensitive?
Yes.
So it's capital
So it's capital
B?
B.
Okay. This is more of a tech person.
Valley what?
Just
HS?
Valley HS.
Capital or?
Lowercase hs.
Yeah,
We
little.
want it to do whatever it has to do. Maybe it has.
Yep, and he said,
Might be good.
yes, I said yes.
Now it says disconnect.
Now connect my phone.
And my phone.
Oh, and some, ooh.
So up to 4 can connect at one
I
time.
got it, I see what you mean, yeah.
Come on.
That's all right.
And see, on this one, you can see there's a keyboard, that means it's a PC or
But it
not.
did work, you
Yeah,
got it.
that's fine.
As you can see, there's no keyboard, that means it's gonna be an iOS or Android device.
So we're doing a project, and hey Joey, that's awesome, show the class.
Mm-hmm.
We're on Wi-Fi, he would have to change his Wi-Fi to the hotspot, then put in that number, open up the Clevertouch app,
Oh, yeah.
hit the number, and then his screen would be on there.
Yeah,
Okay,
and then like if you wanted to concentrate on just one, like say if I wanted to just show
I'm
this
not on
one,
there
if I
yet.
hit
I'm
this,
on it, but.
you see that there's one showing, but it'll show you how many devices are connected.
that's cool.
So,
One,
so there's 4.
Whose device is up here?
Me,
That's
I'm
you?
very proud of this.
Can we see
Figure it out.
if we can
And that's
control
me.
can we see if she can open up or
Absolutely.
like tap another window?
Better for me.
Oh, go to console again.
Oh,
Okay, so this is
so I would
where,
say open.
This
Just
is where
to
Lily might need
allow
it.
it.
for Macs, there's another step to it. I'll show you with, do other people have
So
PCs?
if
Is
you
it all
allow
Mac?
access, then you can
You
control,
should be able to control it now.
now you could,
Alright,
Go
check
for it.
it.
We got PCs.
Yay, very
Sure,
cool,
those work.
look you guys. Hey, oh my god.
So yeah, you don't have to be back there at your computer, you can
The
be
machine,
doing everything from the front.
you need an exorcism.
So just so you know, with your laptops, whether it's your Mac or your PC, you'll have that bi-directional touch. When you are using, if you're using a tablet or a phone, you cannot control, the touch is not gonna be on the board. You have the touch in your hands, right? But you won't be able to manipulate your phone from up there.
Good
if
job,
that
you
makes
done
sense.
it, good job. This is so
Oh, cute
cool.
picture.
Yeah, and then if I was like, okay, I don't want this one up here anymore, you just X out of it,
Oh,
then I'll just clear whoever that person is, disconnect them from the display. And there's also a way to, if you wanted to put on an option where anybody that's going to connect to it, you want to accept or reject them. If you go to the number here, view the main interface, and go to the menu, this switch mode, every time someone tries to connect, it will pop a message, you know, so-and-so is trying to connect, do you want to accept or reject them? So you can set that up too.
It's a way to manage your students, because you know they're gonna hijack your
Yeah,
board.
they're gonna-
They're trying to hijack it, so. I mean, I'll show you what it looks like. Actually, it's gonna kick everybody off, so sorry, everybody. Okay.
Wow.
So now if I come in here,
Oh, you got time. Yeah.
if I wanna share a photo, let's try a different one besides my license plate one. Tammy work, that's my phone, accept or reject. Now if I accept it, it'll put up a picture.
and you got to that setting by hitting the number first.
Yeah, so the number, say if you just don't even want the number up there, if you do minimize, it's just gonna, you won't even see a code. So that's another way to kind of control the classroom. It's like, okay, well, when I'm ready for everyone to connect, then I just hit this and put the code in, or you can just leave it just like it was. But yeah, if you go here, view the devices, this would show you also who's connected. You can delete them or leave them on. But if you come to the menu, the switch mode is where you get that accept or reject. I'm going to switch it off because it drives me crazy during a demo. So. Okay. So any questions so far on Clevershare? Everyone's
I'm
good?
looking at some of the questions we've had. Bigger numbers of Clevershare. I wanted to show, since you asked for that, if there was actually, just so you can find an update on here.
Here, go here, menu, about the device. That's where it's going to ask for the update.
So this is something that might need to be opened with a port, so we'll send those network requirements. In order to
Yeah, you might
update the
do it on
actual,
Wi-Fi instead.
you do have to be on it to update it?
So I think you have to go on Wi-Fi. So you go, I'll show you the file path again. Menu, about the device. It will, when it's on Wi-Fi, it will check for updates to Clevershare. Okay. So if I do retry, it's a network error, but.
Yeah, but it doesn't tell me what way you need to get it bypassed.
Yeah, I think you have to be on Wi-Fi instead of landline. Yeah, I'll find out for
Is
sure.
that an update too when you shut it down, if you hold it, shut down, I thought I've done that before.
Yeah, on the site.
Kind of like a hard power.
Mhm. Yeah, we're gonna make sure it's all up to date before we leave too, but, and that's where too, I think we did show you, did we show earlier where the updates were for the panel itself?
No.
So if you come into settings, and you come down to the bottom, and this is only for the administrator, so if you're setting up those other profiles I talked about earlier, only the administrator can look for updates. So you come down to the end, system update, and you would just check for updates.
So we know there's an update needed for your board, so we'll make sure we do that. But you guys can check that too. Firmware update, right now you're just gonna probably be checking for software update.
It'll tell you if you need it.
So it's not auto save, we have to combine it.
Yeah, well, it sends to the board automatically, but you have to manually hit yes to accept it. Reason for that is because some schools, they don't want it to happen for some other reason or, whatnot. But yes, usually, we didn't mention this earlier, but the board itself has over-the-air updates, kind of like how our phones update. It'll happen like once a year, probably, once or twice a year. Usually I've only seen it once a year, so just so you know.
Maybe some small updates, but here and there, but then there's usually like one big update once a year.
Usually release that over the summer, so it's not.
Are there any different things available or not available if you're on Wi-Fi versus the Ethernet, and which one is better, or does it matter? Or if you're plugged into one, you don't have to have them both turned on.
It's always better to have a hardwired in.
Right.
And that's
Okay.
only for videos and stuff. It's so much better. You're gonna have a faster connectivity without using browser.
If
So,
you're plugged in, you don't have to have the Wi-Fi turned on. That
Correct.
can be off.
Turn it off.
Everything's fine.
and so you were talking about the dropping of,
Might have been because both
exactly.
were on.
Yes.
Because.
Yep,
so
that's
that
probably
would
why.
make sense.
He won't let you be on the Ethernet and Wi-Fi together.
Right. Correct, like the Ethernet and the Wi-Fi. So that's probably what was happening.
Yeah, and I'm sure that the cursor that we had on the whiteboard, that's the update it needs to update. So that was when we released not too long ago. So any other questions about Clevershare? Everyone's good on how to connect, or does anyone want to try connecting that hasn't connected?
Does everyone have the software installed on their devices they would want to connect?
Okay. I did want to quickly show one thing that I didn't show on videos. Let's see, do I still have that open? Oops, back. So I had the video open earlier. Some of you saw it of the soccer game.
The centre of the camp now. And the Fabiano shoots. It's a typical
video and do some annotation over this video. There's also this A with an underline. The A with the underline is a way of being able to do a search. So if I hit this and say it's soccer, I can hit this and it'll open a search engine on whatever subject I just typed in.
So this is a video from your phone, or this is a video?
This is
from-
just a video I had on my USB drive.
Okay.
So, but essentially you could do this with a YouTube video too. If you're just playing a video, it will stop the video and then it can do a search for us.
Click on that again, to get that toolbar. You were
Oh,
watching
to
the video.
get this toolbar,
Yeah.
it's the,
Unable to really test Courtois.
and this toolbar will pull out.
So
I was
however,
just, I was just for the video part aspect. Can I do it from my computer? Like, let's say I YouTube something, it's projecting up in there.
you can, but you won't have, so you'll have a different toolbar option when you're, actually, I don't know, let's test that.
What am I doing? I'm sorry, I didn't get the whole question.
Like if we are watching a video.
I'm gonna get out of this.
And I project it up on in there, right? It's mirroring whatever's on my computer.
Let me see really quickly. Oh. While I'm doing this, if there are any other questions, I gotta reconnect with the.
Was there any questions about the video and stopping it and anything
That
like
was
that?
so cool, that search, that was amazing.
Yeah, I mean that's something that we just added on our last update. So but yeah, it's whenever. So you won't see that in the whiteboard. This is going to be it has its own options, but anything else like a video or the picture that like if you throw up a picture, you would be able to write in whatever that picture is. Like say if like on the soccer video I wanted to look up one of the players. I could just write the player's name and then it would do a search engine on it.
Sorry, I'm not able to change the password because we had a ton of different passwords.
Oh, well,
Let's see if I can do it on my computer.
I was saying, no, mine's Heather. I didn't put in the Clever Shark.
Does this have Netflix?
You could do Netflix if you're.
Well, because sometimes I show them
Okay,
small
now speak
clips.
on to my lab.
Whose is this?
That's Helen.
Okay. So
Okay.
now, there's that bar, go ahead.
Okay, am I annotating over it?
Yeah, so
okay.
it's there, yeah.
So you can't show from there.
Yeah,
Cool.
on my
Or if you
computer,
use the A, try the A.
What is it, CPR or what is it? I don't know what they were doing, but.
That's all right.
CPR.
Yeah.
No, no, it's research.
You guys are awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so neat.
Thank you.
And on the pens too, if you want it has 4 different colors. So each time you click it, it's going to give you 4 different colors. But say you're like, I have to have purple or whatever color. I don't know why I picked purple, but you can change the colors. So, but if there's 4 marked already, you have to unclick one to get a 4th one. Just so you're not like, I'm clicking it and nothing's happening, because you have to click off of one. So yeah, you'll be able to set the different colors, and then even your highlighters will be, some other colors. Sweep just basically means that you're going to sweep the board of whatever was on there.
Can I just select a certain part or no? That's the whole
On
board,
that
right?
one, no,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
that's what I've noticed.
So, yeah, I think now I understand what you're saying. So you can't even come back if you cleared
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So what
Yeah.
I have to do now, then sometimes it just goes back clear, so my image is gone, so then I have to go walk back and mirror it and then freeze it again.
Oh,
So,
okay.
but I think if I had
I
a
think
tablet,
I
that would
understand
solve it, because I don't have to walk back.
Right.
I'm using a tablet instead.
Yeah, but say if I did come up here and I, wrote a bunch of things, as long as you don't hit that red X, now you have some options. You can save it directly to the device, kind of like on the whiteboarding. Directly to the device, right there. QR code, you can just QR code it to, or directly to your cloud drive.
So, mind you, what it's doing is just freezing the frame and creating an overlay. It's only gonna capture what's on that screen itself when you use those annotation tools.
Yeah, and then once I clear out of it, X out of it, everything's gonna go away. Okay. So if you want that, you have to
Still
save
see
it. Okay. Yeah, so if I come in here and I just do a picture.
So I do that, because sometimes I want to work on my computer, but I want to project what they need to work on, or they have to add on. So what I did today was I had a form up there, so period 1, period 2 had to fill in stuff, and I just left it up there, and they were able to write there's
Oh,
stuff
good.
on it, so which is cool. But I didn't know you could do the text on it now, so which is
Yeah,
the
and
other one.
so when you do,
So I can read the writing.
when this arrow is available, so sorry,
Hey, Julie.
I guess I should have checked more clearly that it was
Okay.
not. When it is available, you would then be able to manipulate this
Yeah.
object, make it bigger, smaller, you can rotate it. Same thing with all of these here. If you were to put up a color or a shape here,
The batteries are going.
when the arrow is available, you can click on that shape and you can change the color, you can manipulate it, you can make it bigger, smaller, turn it. I mean, sorry, that's
Yeah.
not working currently, but that's, once you have that arrow up there,
Yeah.
it's just a cursor, it's allowing you to select it.
Didn't know
So
that.
from there now, we got, I wanna go back to my computer
Mm-hmm.
to get a screenshot and come back here again. I wanna get another one.
Okay, then you could,
No, I just need to
I'm
know.
thinking like you do, well, if it's screen mirroring,
Okay.
you could go into,
Yep. Thank you.
That's the same question I have on it.
And I have to go through all that again and
Yes,
and
you do. That's what I have been
reconnect
having to do.
Okay,
I have
was
to go
hoping you
back
had
to
it
my
faster.
computer
Right.
and change it. Because once you have something frozen, in other words, he wants to know, because it's already mirrored, can you
Yeah.
just go back to your mirror? I can't. I have to go out back and remirror.
if it's, well, if it hasn't dropped, you should be able to, I had to went to the wrong thing. Go to active, and it should be one of your options, right?
Or, I don't know. So I guess I really want to understand why. Like, are you using the snipping tool that's on your computer, or are you using the snipping tool that's on the board?
I'm on my computer, I'm mirroring my computer.
Yeah.
Or actually, I have a worksheet or something that the kids are working on, so I wanna snip part of that, because it's on my computer. Here's the table we're gonna use, and then it goes to the whiteboard.
Okay.
So now we're on the whiteboard. But now we finished that, and now there's another thing
Yeah.
that's on here.
That's the
I wanna
same
go
thing
back
as
to
mine.
my computer and grab another thing and put it up.
Yes.
So this is gonna sound like a silly question,
Okay.
and be patient with me, guys.
Okay. Well, you're
When
being
you
patient
say-
with us, so
when you-
yeah, we will be.
When you say whiteboard, are you talking about just this, or are you actually talking
In-
about?
In the white, in
this.
that.
Yeah.
that,
Whatever we
yeah.
froze, see that whatever you froze there, if we're done, and I want to go back, because
Go
that we
back to
obviously
your-
got that from the mirror, right?
Yeah.
How do I go back to the mirror?
Okay, so,
From there.
do you know?
Well, I was thinking, is it still here where I was earlier, the active pages?
I don't know. So
Or no?
I usually have to just go back and click mirror again.
If you go, do you remember how Tammy was talking about connected devices?
Uh-huh.
Then you can just go, actually, you know where this is better than me, where is it? Which ones?
You had it mirrored
Oh,
earlier.
Oh, this is the same one. How
Oh,
do you
you
connect
connect
the
the
devices?
It's, no, no.
It's just-
No,
You just
I just want to go back to
But
that
it was when I was
SAUSD
here.
home screen.
It was when I was, is anything connected right now?
It was. That's where you took the screenshot. That's where you took the little
Okay,
slipping.
connect to your device. Your laptop.
Who's on this hotspot?
The
Yeah,
newer.
will you connect one more
Yeah.
time?
Yeah,
So you have to go back and hit mirror again.
Hold on, maybe
Project
not,
it.
this is what I wanna see.
yeah, it's not mirror again.
Okay, so
Okay,
now
so
we're on.
he's mirroring, right?
Yeah.
And then are you talking about taking a picture?
Yeah, get that.
Okay, so we've got a picture,
Uh huh.
and I'm putting it in here.
Uh huh.
We play with that for a while, we're done.
Yeah, I'll go up in a sec.
Okay, so now you want to get back to your screen
Mirror, uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, I don't know why I go back to, I always want to go back to the bar.
It wasn't let you. You have to go
Shouldn't be in
back.
there, just go to, you have to open up Clevershare.
Then here.
So what's happening is when you're doing that, it's like switching
I think it's on
sources,
the
essentially.
left
You're
corner.
going from the computer to the Android.
Uh huh.
Connect to your left corner again.
There it is, yeah, a little white box.
You guys. Did you reconnect it right now?
That's me.
That's
Oh. Hold on.
Don't all mess with Bill.
Don't disconnect, don't disconnect. Where does it show all of that?
It's
I think it,
whenever I
is
do
it
the-
switch mode?
Wait a minute.
Is it switch
No.
mode? Oh no.
Why is it not showing it?
I don't know.
Well, yeah, because earlier I wasn't.
Because I do the same thing. I have to go back to my desk and hit mirror again, and then take my other screenshot. Yes. So
It's still
I
cool,
get a
but it's like
workout,
Back and forth,
Yeah.
back and forth, back and forth.
and that's what I wanted. And if I could just
Yeah.
sit there and just reopen that window
That would
again.
make a difference, wouldn't it?
See, we're on the same
I know.
thing.
Hold on, we're gonna share one thing. Did I kick everyone else off? No,
Yeah.
now there's devices.
Yeah, it's the,
No, it's connected.
Alright, will you, sorry, connect one more time. Sorry. So we just realized essentially why it wasn't showing up, so.
Okay. So
Okay,
he's connected.
so we're gonna pretend like,
Now hit.
God, this is.
So you're going to start mirroring?
Alright, this sound, I made it look a lot more difficult. Essentially, if your computer's connected and then you lose connection because you're doing something on the Android up here, then all you have to do is tap, well now, does it matter who I'm,
Is that you?
oh, someone's already mirroring.
Is that you?
Hit the little eye, yeah, there you go.
That's
Now
what
you
I
got
want.
both.
That's me.
That's him right now. But
I know.
yeah. So just hit. So I need to go back. Do I hit that little code? Is that what I do?
Yeah, you can hit it up here, view the devices. And then that will.
And then
you
hit
can
that, okay.
your
But
computer.
now does that make?
Okay, that's-
Now, okay, that's
It
cool.
does make a
That's
difference
a
if
little
you're in
bit.
switch mode.
Yeah.
Because we can switch mode.
So what
And
I
you can drag that little. Yeah. So you don't have to.
yeah.
Because I have a little step stool in my classroom because I'm short.
Move it on your
Yeah, I bring it down. Just I was just
So
saying.
now a question.
So then I guess you do have to be in switch mode to do that.
I'm
Just
out of
so-
switch mode, right?
Huh?
I'm out of switch mode.
Oh, you are? I thought
So
you
she
were
just
in
clicks
switch
on
mode.
that and then just go to.
No, I think you
I
turn
think you
switch
are
Connected.
mode
trying to turn
on.
it off. Or on?
No,
I
it's
think
on.
Switch mode is on.
Yeah.
So you have to be in
Yeah,
switch mode
So-
to see it.
Sorry, what do I do? I have to click on switch mode.
That
seems
seems
bizarre.
bizarre though, but. Yeah, for switch mode, if you come here, that's the message that keeps coming up, like the accept or reject someone that's trying to connect to it. So
It's usually just me because I don't want
Yeah.
my kids will mess with me and we'll never get anything done. So I'm not gonna even show them that. But
So
if
then
I just
every
click on switch mode on menu,
But then every time she has to.
Well, and
connect.
that's the thing, is you don't want to do that. So I would suggest not putting into switch mode right now, as I'm
Yeah, because then
thinking about
every
this.
time
Yeah.
she wants to connect,
Yeah.
she's gonna have to run up here, switch it, and then go back.
Yeah, I don't
to
wanna do
it.
that.
Switch mode again. Troubleshooting, you guys.
Okay, so now switch mode's off.
Switch mode is off.
Now my.
Are you still, yeah.
Yeah, so what it kicked
he's still
everything off.
mirrored on
No,
there.
no, yeah, it kicked me out.
Disconnected.
Yeah, when you go back and forth between switch mode, it'll disconnect.
Okay, now you go to.
Go to the Android side again, just go home.
Yeah, go home, maybe. I think right there, can you click on that clever set, bottom
And
left
then
corner?
yeah, then do you interface?
It's the same thing, you get the same.
Yeah, it won't show.
Can you
who's
hit
on.
that clever set?
Yeah, so
Bottom
it's,
left
it's,
corner?
it's
Yeah.
gonna make it
This
small.
is a great question,
Yeah, this
you
is
know.
good, because
It's the same as in the number.
it feels like you shouldn't have to be in switch mode to see who's connected.
Because you would think it's still up in there and active, right? Because it's still active in
Yeah,
there.
it is, yeah.
Can you do it?
No, they kicked me off already. They just start mirroring. They kicked me off again.
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great question though. I mean, ultimately, it's like, you know,
He's gonna think he's on it.
Yeah, this
Go back and
come
say
back.
fix this.
yeah, do something about it.
We are so bad.
I'm trying to think if there's another section.
Leadership meetings.
All right, before we, I'm sure you guys want to stay here until like 7 at night with us and.
Oh, let me just show one more thing on whiteboard. This is just the gray toolbar here. It moves around. So if you have a student on the other side, you can throw it to them. Or if you want it back, you can just hit 2 fingers. Come on.
Say that
Let's go ahead.
Come back.
Oh, wait.
Okay.
Yeah, so then it just,
Come
2
back.
fingers to the board and it'll come to wherever you are.
Wherever your 2 fingers are?
Yeah. So.
Do that again. I'm sorry.
Huh. That's
So you don't have to stand on one side.
Yeah, so like if like someone was using it before and it's like too high for you to reach.
I usually
or
just drag it down the bottom where I can reach everything. Yeah.
Or if you do want to throw it to the other side.
Oh, very
You
cool.
can
Thank you.
just so you know that one. Okay, now go ahead.
I was gonna say, are you guys going to create a user account for yourself, or are you gonna wanna lock the screen? No? Okay. Just make sure if you do have, because I wanted to show you how to get your Google account on there and kind of what that looks like. But are you guys going to put your Google account on there?
Yeah, I will, yeah.
Okay. So the main thing when you, God, it's so weird having it down here.
I know.
If you go add your Google account here,
Where?
so I'm sorry, I went to Files.
Okay.
Files, I'm selected under Cloud Drive, I hit the plus sign, you add an account. This is where you would enter all your credentials.
And then when they're going to out, they're going to walk around
I know, that's why I don't want to mess with that, because those kids are,
Well, that's just it. So if you're gonna do this, you're gonna wanna secure it. You know, you at least want to prevent people getting on there. So when you go to Cloud Drive, it's gonna go right to the browser. I'm just using my personal one, so, and then please remind me to delete it before.
just saying, these kids are smart.
Yeah. I mean.
Yeah, you want to
Budgeted
go
for
see
a tablet.
the girl. Yeah, that, edit.
Oh.
So what's the password?
Hey. Hey.
So you may not want to set this up with one of your students.
Yeah, but once you set it,
You can forget it.
no, I'm just kidding, but it will remain on there.
Yeah, until he goes out
It's on camera already.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, that's right.
Leave that one part out. Okay, so there's a couple things that I wanted to show you if you're going to be using this. Skip it a second.
Oh,
I don't-
yeah.
Yeah. So now I'm automatically logged in through the browser, and we talked about this earlier. If you want to access anything in your drive, this is where you're going to open it, in the browser. We'll talk about why a little bit. You just go to your waffle, and then you're gonna go to Drive. Now, a lot of this other things, such as the Google Play Store, will not work on the board. Go ahead and try it. Google's amazing, it's wonderful, but Google has its own entity too where it doesn't want to interfere with other items. So there's lots of closed, I don't know what to say. It's not illegal, but basically it's against their policy to have that access on any screen larger than 42 inches. So,
Can you get to a classroom?
sorry?
Classroom?
You can use Google Classroom on here. Test it though. I have done it, and I was shocked because I didn't think we'd be able to. But it does work. Google Classroom did work up here. But this is where you would access anything in your drive.
Bless you. Coronavirus, I'm sorry.
And you can. Let's see. Where is connections? So these are just some of my stuff from my old classroom and stuff. So you can just open up I have Google Slides. It's going to display it in the browser. So what I always tell teachers is basically if you're looking just to display your content, you can do it this way really easily, but you're not going to be able to edit because it's using the browser, it's not using the app to really support this. But you could you could always write over it, you know, as we were showing earlier, you can annotate over anything that you have open, but you're not going to be able to actually edit that.
If you have your laptop, you edit it on your laptop.
Exactly. Well, and that's just it. Or you can always use Clevershare and do it that way too if you're displaying things. But one other part, I just want to, just so you have a good understanding, I am able, like I said, to access your drive through the browser. In Files, since I have my Cloud Drive there, if I open it up, what you're going to see is lots of other documents like Excel, PDFs, images, videos, basically anything not Google related, I can open up here. Anything that is Google related will come up as unknown. And the reason for that is the same thing I was just telling you about the policies for Google, how it's not, they want to keep it within their own smaller devices at this point. So it's a little deceiving, right? You can still access anything in your drive through the browser. So just so you kind of understand that piece. Does that make sense? Okay. And user accounts. So if you're going to have your Google Drive on your panel, you want to protect it. You're going to go to settings.
Okay.
And you're going to go to user.
Okay.
So Tammy had mentioned earlier that the owner account is the admin account. Usually I say if it's your board, if you're primarily using it, just keep that as the main user. You could just use that. And then you would just edit it there and create a password. It's four digits, 4 numbers. So, you know, try to keep it simple and or something they'll remember. The other thing, once you create a passcode, this is how you would actually use that card. Do you have the cards? Not everyone does. I know she had
Yeah,
it.
they think they're in our microphone.
Oh, that's right. The
I don't
microphone
know
box.
MC.
No, I looked at mine too, I did find it.
Oh, really? So when you have it, when you write your card, all you do is put the card right next to it right here, hit write and keep that card up there, and then it'll give you a message that it's done. And you hit OK. But that's how you create a password at least. Okay, sorry, Tammy.
No, that's
That was
good.
Any
just under
questions on that?
settings, that was under settings users.
Settings, yep.
Yeah, and don't worry about if you lose the card, because you'd still be able to log in. When you go to the lock screen, you can just enter the code there without using the card.
Yeah. I know we talked about the links and cloud connectivity for content that you create at home. Are you using links right now?
I played with it, but I didn't get it to go, so I haven't messed with it.
Yeah, I use it,
You use links.
yeah.
So,
But I don't use it completely, I'm using it to do, here's what we're doing and some other stuff. And I save that and I do the next one for the next step.
okay. So, I guess what I'm asking, if you're doing it at home, you want something, because if you guys don't know, Links is just, it's a software, but it's a lesson creator software, kind of like Smart Notebook, something similar to that. So you can create all of your lessons in there. Now, it's in the works, it's not out yet. I don't know if you've heard about this cloud connectivity. Do you know anything about that being released?
Yeah, so right now we have the version that you download, but the cloud version is going to be like around July timeframe. So then you would just use it on cloud.
So at this point, you could always use Clevershare and display your links that way. The other option is, have you downloaded the Links app on the board? Then you have to use your flash drive. You save it on a flash drive, plug it in, open it that way right now. But I can't wait for that cloud to come out because that's ideally what you would want.
I was thinking that'd be a workaround for the problem we were talking about
Oh,
before.
okay.
We try to write on things, I was trying to put them into links and then put on there, that way it wouldn't do all that
Sure.
weird stuff it was doing.
Yeah,
That's what
sure.
I'm playing with.
Well, hopefully sometimes having that background and whiteboard too might solve some of those good images there.
I'm here for the Super Bowl.
There. Is there anything else you guys can think of?
I was going to show.
To make sure I do. Yes.
So, when they do the cloud version, then if I'm not gonna be there and I have a substitute, I can send the lesson that way.
Yeah, if you want your sub to possibly, I haven't seen it yet, so I can't really speak to it, but if you want if she has access to that account.
So I set it up the day before, or first thing in the morning, when it's on, and I just give them notes how to wake it up. And then the computer set up so that the two can control each other.
Yeah. Yeah, so the other option too, you guys, is for those user accounts. I think it's great to have a sub account. Then you can save anything. If you're actually knowing you're not gonna be there the next day, you can save everything in that sub account and just say, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4 is the passcode.
Oh, that's a good lesson.
And then they can just open that up. So it's not associated with all of your content, especially if you have your Google Drive on there. It'll be there on your account. But you can still share things on there. That's kind of what I'll work around. But you just label it sub. Anything else? Are you guys ready to go back and utilize some of these new things that you learned today? Yeah. Oh, and that's links. So if you guys haven't seen it, this is a whole other training piece, you guys. But essentially, since you guys were you trained on it, or did you guys just kind of pick it up on your own?
I used to use Notepad all the time, so
Okay.
this is your guys' thing. I figured it's
Similar.
probably similar, and why not?
Yeah.
I like it much better.
The notebook?
Than the way, yeah, I like the links much better than everything else.
Yeah. So another, it's not really comparison to anything that's on the panel because that's an app. This is a software. So you're gonna get lots more bells and whistles with links than you would on the whiteboard feature on the panel because it's just an app. This is a lot more depth.
So it has pages kind of like we were doing on the whiteboard. And then content, so it will have different things that you can pull and drag in, like if I wanted a different background, or if I come back here, if I'm working in chemistry, I can, do things like this. the website. So
You can bring anything from a browser, you can snip in text directly in
I'm
there.
gonna bring in a browser.
Media search is my favorite.
Yeah, I like media search too. Let's see if I can get it to.
You have to do it on your computer. So you can search, you can have access to all different clip art.
Oh.
Are you online?
I was. Oh no, you know what? Maybe I didn't.
So
this
you can
is-
search,
Sorry, this is software that has to be on your computer.
it does.
It can't be on the, okay.
There's an app available on the panel. I mean, but then you're creating things on the panel, which really isn't realistic.
Right.
So it's a software that goes on your computers. And I don't know who oversees, like who's helped with the boards and all the different sites, but all of the panels came with blue cards, software cards. Anyone see those?
I was with them.
I have to go back and
installed them.
look.
I don't know what they do.
I don't remember getting them, but I'll go back and look in my box.
Yeah, and so it comes with like the little Android keys. Usually, I tell the team to someone to collect those because they're essentially they're all the key codes for the software. You need a key code for the software. It's all free, but
Oh, yeah, there was a little.
It's like a
a blue card.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's with it's with an Android box. I don't have any with me. But don't worry, you can get codes.
Yeah, I mean,
If you need codes,
if it comes down to, if it comes down to where you don't have your card anymore, then you can just email me and I can, all I need is the serial number and I can ask for the codes.
otherwise, who was you were there for all the install. So maybe you can try to find out and see if someone has them somewhere.
Well, okay.
Maybe or not. Just
No, no,
ask
I'm
her
just
for
trying to
codes.
think of- I mean, the guys that were putting them in,
Yeah.
all they did was they put everything into the box and left.
Left.
So I don't know
Yeah.
if they really bothered with doing it or not.
Right. Well, yeah. Just confirm that, and then Tammy will look you guys up. Codes.
You know where those are, Dan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll play it.
The thing is
They're
they
in the
look.
room.
People throw them away all the time. Like, not all the time.
Blackmailing people. You want your card?
All right, so once you have that, then you can access the, there might be if you go to clevertouch.com, they have a drop-down menu for software, and you can get like a 30-day free trial just to test it out.
Okay.
Just close it. So in the media search,
Seems like there should be more.
well, you're in clip art. Hit the
Oh.
clip art thing.
Yeah, too close. Oh.
So then you can also do it for any image that's on the browser. You can do it with YouTube videos, and you can also do it with GIFs or GIFs, whatever you guys want them to be called. Anyway, it's just a nice quick tool when you're creating lessons, just to get that other content directly in there. And there's so much with this, but like I said, this is another training. Crawl, walk, run.
I'm on my phone, that spot says too slow.
Any other questions that you guys can think of?
We didn't really find a solution to switching back to our computer quickly, or we did, I don't remember.
For the Clever Share?
Right.
I mean, as of right now, we're gonna have to do a little bit more digging. As of right now, if you're on switch mode, then it'll show up the devices. Then you can just click on yourself and you go right back to the page. So
Once you set it up where the kids can use it, you probably don't wanna have that.
switch mode
As long as
is
you've got
good.
your permission.
You just have to grant yourself permission every time, which is kind of annoying. But as long as you're right there anyway. So you could try that, put switch mode on, and then you can see the listed devices and just toggle that way instead of running back to your computer.
Say, well, unless the computer's in the back of the room, they'd have to do something back there, but then learn up here.
They would, yeah. So it's just a little annoying because you have to accept yourself when you're trying to cast. Until then, we'll try to find out more information. Which I wrote that down. I think I got, the sound bar question about,
Yeah, I don't think I'll use it because I have
yeah,
set up, so, but I mean, I think I tried to play, I didn't have the computer on, I was just trying to play a video, like a YouTube video or something,
Yeah.
and it had sound. I didn't get sound, so I probably just need to know how to access it.
okay, is the sound actual, like, volume?
Is there a set?
Volume?
Does it just play automatically? It should play?
It should, well,
It's
it
set up
depends
to-
how,
it's set up
Okay.
yeah. But
There's
this,
a box behind the TV where you can adjust.
You can adjust things, we can show you where it is.
It's on the left side.
And then the volume for our speakers are just in the menu down here.
so make sure the volume was at
I'll
least
see if
up
it
there
works,
too.
because like I said, I've already set up, so I'm fine without it.
I'm sure when they installed it, they tested that out, but,
Is there a setting in the board that says which,
Oh, they
what
didn't-
sound
they
to use,
didn't test.
which?
there's
So it's
no
on my computer
audio,
somewhere.
no, there's not. So however,
We'll figure that
you
out.
know, whatever control system or however they're using it for their amplifier and all that would be set up like that. It's not for the board, just like another device.
Okay. Good enough.
Yeah, sorry.
It's all right. Like I said, I'm happy the way it's working. I just was curious when I played it, it didn't get sound.
Yeah,
When I went through, I had to check all my variables. So like I had to make sure that that volume was up, right? Then I had to go into my player on my computer, make sure that's actually, for me, from the computer, that's where I was adjusting the sound. It was
Yeah.
easier just to leave that all the way up
yep,
and then play with it. And then it has its own default. But then on my mic, I mean, it's all still running through the speaker, but then my mic had a separate sound, right? When you're adjusting the amp on the back,
oh,
that, for me, at least when I went and did that, that had its own sound volume settings just for the mic.
Right,
But then the screen, which is also using the same speaker, has got its own settings,
yeah.
right? So it was easy for me to just max the screen since it depends. If you're playing something straight off the Chrome that's built onto the screen, then you would have those two things to play with. But for me, I just maxed it out, and then I'm only ever doing stuff through my computer
sure.
on it right now anyway, and then I just play with the volume on there,
That
and
makes
that was my
sense.
easiest. But even that was enough to juggle between my mic.
Yeah, right.
Right, go.
Yeah.
It took me a few days to dial that in and really be able to move fluidly without it distracting from the class. you know.
Sure, yeah.
But it's nice to have. It's a good speaker.
Yeah, it's nice that you guys are nice.